everyone, welcome back to Grounded Haven. Today we're out in the garden and we're going to be doing some harvesting. I noticed that our fridge was very empty now that the summer season is over. And the nice thing about having a garden is that you can just go out and pick your groceries for the week. So that's what we're going to be doing today. And I have to say, I do really love all of the fall veggies. I love all the things you can grow in the summer, but I feel like this year I kind of have the fall garden down and we have so many things to choose from. So I'm really happy about that. Today we're going to be picking some broccoli, some bok choy. I think we have some carrots in the garden. So those are just a few things off the top of my head, but we'll just see what we can grab as we go around the garden today. We'll just start right here in this area of the garden, and we have some beautiful heads of bok choy over here. I'm going to grab a couple of those. They just look so stunning. I was really worried that they were not going to do well because they were just so scrawny and then they kind of got pecked by our chickens, but they have just filled in so nicely. They're so gorgeous. And then right behind that, I have some purple sprouting broccoli, and they don't form sprouts until the spring, but I'm gonna pick a few of these leaves because I'm going to be making a soup tomorrow, and I really like to use these leaves in the soup. They wilt down really nicely when I cook them in my Instant Pot, and I think I am going to be making that soup in a future video. So yeah, we'll just pick these for today. Next, we're in the back area of the garden, and I'm going to be checking on the broccoli row. I think we have one head that definitely can be picked today, and I'll have to take a closer look at the rest of them, but this is the one I saw the other day. It looks so beautiful, and it's so big. I'm really happy to see that this broccoli, again, did really well for me. I tried it for the first time this spring. The variety is called Green Magic, and it's a hybrid variety. And I'm just so happy with this broccoli. It just forms such a nice head, and it's been hard for me to grow heirloom broccoli that produces a head. So I'm so happy with that one, and it's so big. And it did really well in the spring too, even when it started heating up. So we're gonna grab this one today because it's a nice size. I wanna get to it before any of these florets start sprouting into flowers. You can see it's kind of starting to get just a tiny bit loose. Still really beautiful and fresh, but I don't want it to get any looser and go past its prime. I picked the first head the other day. You can see this is where I cut it off, and I made the best broccoli recipe. It was like a skillet roasted broccoli, so I'll probably do that again with this other head that I picked, and I'll show it at the end of the video. I'm pretty sure every single broccoli plant is starting to form a head now, which is so great to see. So this one's still a little bit on the small side. I'll let it grow a little longer, and the florets are really tight on there, still really nice and fresh. And by the way, after I cut the main broccoli off, I leave the whole plant here because broccoli will often form side shoots, which you can already see forming here. So I used to think it was a waste that you would only get one head of broccoli per plant, but then you get all of these little bonus shoots afterwards too, which is nice. So it's kind of almost like broccoli rabe, where you just have these little florets and you just pick a handful of those, and then it's almost like you have another head of broccoli. There's another one back there I need to take a closer look at. It looks a little smaller, but it does look like maybe the threads are getting a little loose, so I'll have to take a close look at that. Actually, this big one that I'm gonna harvest, I didn't even harvest it yet, but it's still already growing some side shoots. So maybe we'll pick some of those as well. I'm still gonna give the cabbage a little longer, but I did just want to show them because I'm so happy with them and so proud of them. They're looking so beautiful. I know I just showed them like a couple weeks ago in the garden tour, but I'm just so proud of them, and they're starting to form their heads so beautifully. And I think we'll have plenty of cabbage this year where I can make a nice big batch of sauerkraut, which is going to be really great because I just finished all of our homemade sauerkraut, so it's going to be perfect timing. I was also debating picking tot soy because it's just looking so beautiful and full, but because we already picked the bok choy, I think I'll leave this here for now. And I wanted to pick the bok choy before the tot soy because I think the tot soy is supposed to be more cold tolerant, so I'm gonna try and let this go as long into the fall and winter as possible. But it's just looking so gorgeous and lush. So this is the area where I know we have some carrots, but we will have to be a little bit careful because last time we were here there were a lot of swallowtail caterpillars, and you can actually see they ate almost all of the leaves off of these carrots now, which I'm okay with because they were pretty much done growing anyway. And you can see that the carrots are starting to show in the ground here. These ones look a little bit smaller. I did notice that we have some more under this artichoke plant. But what happened was after the swallowtail caterpillars ate all of these carrot tops, I think they like migrated over here because there were more carrot greens that they hadn't eaten yet, and I can see one right there. They're chomping on those leaves now. So we'll have to see what's going on down here. I do know that the carrots under here are a lot bigger, but if there are still a lot of caterpillars, then I don't really want to harvest them, just to make sure the caterpillars have enough to eat. But I can see in there, I'm not sure if you can see it on camera, but there are some carrots in there. So yeah, we'll just have to see what we can do. Are you ready for this? This is gonna be the biggest carrot ever. It's huge!
Are you messing?
No, it's so big. Look at that guy!
Oh my gosh.
That's the biggest carrot we have ever grown. Oh my goodness. He's a fatty. I don't remember what variety this is. I'll have to look it up. But wow.
Wow.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Wow.
We just need one for our soup.
Oh, okay.
No, I'm just kidding.
We could do two.
Yeah, we can do another one. I kind of want to save it though, but this one looks like it's
You
gonna.
know how it is once you start pulling them out.
Oh, that one's so disappointing compared to the other one.
Yeah.
Uh-oh, I pulled another one out. Okay, well.
Okay.
These look like mini carrots.
Okay.
We're just gonna pick these few carrots because I don't want to bother the swallowtails, and also this guy I think is going to be enough for one meal anyway. He's so big. They are so fragrant. It really smells like carrots now. You smell them?
Mm-hmm.
They smell so good. So I think this is going to be the last thing we're going to grab. We have a nice little patch of cilantro, and we're going to pick some of those. It's looking so beautiful. There is not as high of a chance of it bolting when you're growing it in the fall, which is great. And we're just going to pick a little bit of this because I'm going to make nachos tonight, so we'll have some fresh cilantro to top our nachos with.
I
see them in the morning.
Oh, really?
They go by that tree that you usually put the feeder in, even though they're small.
They used to it from like 2 years ago.
Yeah, exactly.
They aren't too bad this last year.
Yeah, strange.
But the sparrows and those other birds, yeah. I got them.
So here is our final harvest. We have our beautiful heads of broccoli, 2 pretty good sized ones, along with some broccoli greens that are going to go in a soup. We also have a beautiful bowl of bok choy. This is actually only 3 heads. Once you cook it down, it will shrink, but they're just so big that we couldn't really fit any more in the bowl. We also have some carrots and some cilantro. So some beautiful fall vegetables, and it was just a really fun time picking them. One very last thing I wanted to mention, we don't have any mushrooms to pick right now, but we have started harvesting some mushrooms from our wine cap mushroom bed, which is so exciting. I'm so happy to say that we have succeeded inoculating mushrooms. So here's actually one stem you can see of a mushroom that we picked the other day. Actually, here's one mushroom that's kind of shriveled up because it's been really dry and windy here. So it's not like the best conditions, but they have started fruiting. We've noticed that a lot of the mushrooms actually grow a little bit outside the bed, like over here. So we've picked quite a few on the outskirts. You can see another stem here. And hopefully we'll keep getting mushrooms and then we can show you some of our harvest next time. But I'll put a couple photos on the screen of the mushrooms that we've harvested so far. Okay, for real, one last thing that I'm going to show you. I noticed these crocuses that were blooming by our back steps, and I am like 95% sure they're actually saffron crocuses. If you look in here, each of them has 3 red stamens, and that's saffron right there. And another way you can tell that it's saffron crocus is because they bloom in the autumn. And I have seen these crocuses bloom in the autumn here before, but I just thought it was an anomaly. But this year, I saw a post by I think it was Smithsonian Gardens on Instagram, and they posted about saffron crocuses, and then I was like, wait, I think that's what we have. So I actually came out here and harvested a bunch of these stamens the other day, and that's just so cool that they're here. They were planted by the previous owner, which is why I didn't know that they were here. And that's pretty neat because saffron is the most expensive spice in the world. I've never tried it because it's expensive, so I'm excited to harvest these and try it out. So that's going to be it for today's harvest video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you again in the next video. Now I'm going to show you the skillet roasted broccoli recipe that I have been making with the broccoli that I've been harvesting. The recipe is originally from America's Test Kitchen and they posted a video on it, so I will link their video in the description box if you want to check that out, because I don't really measure things and I don't know the exact measurements, so in case you wanted all of those details, you can check out their video. So what I'm doing now is just cutting up the broccoli, and I'm trying to create as many flat sides of the broccoli as possible. This is going to make it so that those surfaces can come in contact with your pan, and then they can get really nice and brown. Then I'm starting with a cold 12-inch cast iron skillet, and I put a couple tablespoons of extra virgin olive oil on the bottom of that, and I laid in my broccoli and I tried to organize it so that the flat sides are touching the pan, and then I also added in a 1/4 teaspoon of salt and a splash of water. This is going to go on the stove with the heat turned on high, and we're going to put the lid on so that it can steam for a little bit before we fry it. That's going to go for 4 or 5 minutes, and meanwhile we're going to make a topping. I'm starting off with a couple tablespoons of sunflower seeds, then I have some nutritional yeast, which has a little bit of a cheesy flavor. I'm going to zest 1 lemon with my microplane. Next I'm going to add some paprika and some salt. I combined all of it in a mortar and pestle, and then I'm going to pound it a little bit to break up those sunflower seeds, and then once those are a little bit broken up, just start crushing it and making it into a crumbly texture. Now it's time to flip the broccoli that's in our pan, so I'm just going to move this off the heat while I do this, take the lid off, and then I can kind of like flip the broccoli pieces around and trying to flip them onto a second cut side if they have it. And then this is going to go back on the heat with the lid off this time, and this is the part where the broccoli is going to get really nice and brown. So while this is frying off, I'm going to use my tongs and kind of like push the broccoli into the pan to make sure it has really good contact. All of those places where it's going to touch the pan are going to get really nice and brown and have a good roasted flavor. You can see the browning on some of these pieces. You can especially see it where you have like a really nice flat side. So cutting the broccoli in this way definitely helps to produce a really good result with this dish. On my serving plate, I'm going to sprinkle in about 1/3 of the topping that we made earlier. This is to make sure all of those bottom layers of broccoli get some of that nice topping. And then after I add the broccoli to the plate, I can add the rest of the topping right on top of that. You can just see how beautiful this broccoli looks. Lots of browning going on there, and I didn't have to turn on the oven. And cooking it in a skillet was also a lot faster than roasting it. This topping is so delicious. You get a nice cheesy flavor from the nutritional yeast and a little bit of brightness from the lemon zest. It's really delicious on this broccoli, and I've just been really enjoying this recipe, so I hope you guys try it out.